March 28th,
I
2020.
love my mom, and I love my brother,
Yeah.
and I love my sister, and I love you, Dad.
Thanks, bud. I love you. Let me tell you why this amazing champion strong boy is sitting here with me on March 28th. Guys, it's his birthday. Holden turned 13 today. Are you 13?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 13. Bit of a rough day. I don't think he got to enjoy his birthday as much as he could have. You might be able to notice there's a lot of subclinical abnormal brain activity going on right now. He's had 2 big seizures today that really took it out of him. But overall, a good day. Did you open some birthday presents today?
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you get? You remember?
I got toys, dragons,
Yeah, 2 dragons. What else?
Dad.
Yeah,
Could you help me?
you got a hoverboard with a chair so you can sit and ride.
I got a hoverboard.
With a chair. Huh.
Yeah.
So you can sit down and ride it and be safe. He actually got out and did that for a bit today, so that was awesome. So today is all about my boy Holden, and I'm so grateful that he made it to 13.
My mom is a boy.
Your mom is a boy? You're funny. Then what does that make me?
He had a bra.
I had a bra? You're so funny. He loves to pick on us. He's got a great sense of humor. Before I get into some of the coronavirus stuff, because it's my boy's birthday, and it's a big deal to us because we don't know how many more he's going to have and if he'd even make it to this one. So it's a big deal. And the past 10 and a half years has been really hard. Why? Because of those dang
My
vaccines. Your mom?
As a girl.
That's right. She's a girl. She's a beautiful girl. You know, when these seizures started, we'd always ask why. And not in the sense of accountability.
Just sit.
Toby, sit. Not an accountable why. A victim why. Why us? Why him? Why, God, are you punishing my son? Right? And that is the wrong way to treat any situation. You should ask why. But your why should always come from a place of accountability. What got us here? And it took us years of chasing the magic pill, that magic cure, whatever it was, and, praying for that miracle to shift that victim mentality to an accountable one and say, what got us here?
Stand.
And how can we
To
change
stand.
and prevent this from happening again? And it took years for me to overcome my cognitive dissonance and accept the fact that our choice to vaccinate our baby was the wrong one. And in fact, that he was divinely designed. We knew that, but we, I guess, didn't have the faith to recognize that in that divine design, there was no need for man's BS interventions that are actually worse than what they're trying to protect you from. And so today I just want to take a couple minutes to highlight one of the amazing people that helped open my eyes. And I've mentioned this book before and this person before, but I want to talk about Dr. Suzanne Humphries and especially her book, Dissolving Illusions, Disease, Vaccines, and the Forgotten History. This is one of the best books I've ever read, especially on the topic of vaccination. And I'm not going to sit here and try to talk to you about what it's about, because you need to read it yourself. Okay, it goes into...
I'm the boy.
You are a good boy. It goes into the history of disease. It goes into the history of individual societies and why each society was at such high risk of infectious disease, and more importantly, mortality from these diseases. Disease isn't the problem. Okay, infection isn't necessarily the problem. It's susceptibility. The germ theory is way off, guys. It all comes down to our terrain. And I can tell you, the terrain that we were developing early in our marriage, early in our children's lives, was not a healthy one. It wasn't one that you could live every day without fear of infection or disease, because we didn't have the foundation of health that we do now. Unfortunately, it's too little too late. But we're doing our best over time to give this kid the best of the best of the best every day, to give him the best quality of life possible. And for myself and for my wife and all our kids, our foster kids, everyone. Back to Suzanne Humphries. She is a brilliant, brilliant woman. And just so you understand her qualifications or credentials, sure, you Google her name, and because she challenges the mainstream narrative, what you'll get from Google and Bing and all these controlled platforms is a quack, a loon, she's crazy. But in reality, this woman is brilliant, okay? She went to she started as a CNA, went into nursing, but realized she really loved physics, got a degree in physics, then wanted to go into medicine. And she is now double board certified in internal medicine and nephrology. And she ran a very successful nephrology practice in the East, very busy, for over a decade. And when the swine flu epidemic happened, they started pushing vaccination like crazy. Sound familiar? Well, a lot of her patients that were facing renal failure, she started asking, actually one patient just really insisted he was fine with no pathologies of disease until that dang shot. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he says, I was fine until that shot. What shot? The flu shot. And so she started looking into it, because then she started asking every patient that came in with health problems, when was your last vaccine? Because that triggered a light bulb in her brain. No one's ever taught her about vaccines. Doctors don't get education on vaccines. Understand, immunology and vaccinology are two separate topics. And because they're trained in immunology, they think they know everything about vaccines. Not true. They don't get more than half a day of education on vaccines, if they're lucky, and all they get is vaccines are the most important technology that ever existed and saved the world, and you must follow the schedule. That's all they know. So she started challenging things. In fact, the hospital changed their protocols, and as soon as somebody was admitted, they were given a flu shot. And right then, people started going into renal failure, onto dialysis, and dying. And so she started really diving into the medical research in vaccines. And it didn't take her long to find out why her patients were doing so badly post-vaccination. And she's actually dedicated the past probably 14 years now, at least well over a decade, just head buried in the research, 7 days a week, at least 10 or more hours a day. She is one of the main stars in my vaccine playlist on the Fear vs. Freedom channel. Why? Because she is one of the best teachers on the topic, because she sticks to the facts. peer-reviewed medical research that proves how this is happening to our youth, destroying their health. And it's all part of a plan, guys, a grand scheme. Read the book. And why I'm bringing this all up, 2 years ago I wrote her an email. And within a few minutes, got a reply back from her. But it was important to me that she knew how much she was appreciated. Because, listen, it's not an easy thing to speak the truth and to share it with the world. Because the world is taught to hate you if you question the mainstream narrative. And not only is she hated by the masses, her life has been threatened many times. The brake lines on her car have been cut in an effort to kill her. Gas has been turned on in her home in an effort to kill her. She has had serious death threats and has required 24/7 protection because she speaks the truth. And it threatens the industry and the corporations. So I wanted to tell her how much her truth helped educate me and improve our lives. And I'm just going to read this letter to you, and then we'll jump into a couple articles and we'll be done. Dr. Humphries, I just want to send you a quick note to say thank you for all you do. You have taught me so much, and I wish I spelled that wrong. I wish I knew then what I know now. I can now see some level of vaccine injury in all 4 of my kids, including asthma, eczema, and learning disorders. But my son Holden was severely vaccine injured back in 2009, and his intractable epilepsy, which affects our entire family in a profound way every single day, including his birthday. Doctors have never been able to diagnose his condition, but Mom and Dad know what caused this. Although it took us many years to get past our cognitive dissonance and actually admit that vaccines and our choice to vaccinate were a causal part of his condition. For years, we continued to overlook the vaccine link, even though his first seizure began the day he received a few vaccines. Doctors told us that it was purely coincidence, and they were the authority figures, not us, so we believed them. In fact, we were led to believe that now that he has epilepsy, vaccines were even more important moving forward. I look back at those years and I hate what I allowed to happen to my kids because I didn't take the initiative to learn more before making decisions regarding vaccinating my kiddos. I now constantly research and grow and have a very strong focus on healthy and balanced organic nutrition along with holistic and natural health care. And my family will never be injected with these toxins ever again. You truly are a lifesaver, and I applaud your courage, strength, and fortitude for taking on all the attacks from Big Pharma, from the army of trolls, along with the vast majority of the population that know nothing about vaccine science, pro or anti, but just blindly follow the propaganda and believe what they are told, like I used to. You played a big part for me in learning how to research on my own and learn to make critical decisions based on my own acquired knowledge and not just what so-called authority figures tell me to do. This applies to all aspects of my life, not just healthcare. And for that, I am eternally grateful. I have educated as many people as I can on vaccines and continue to do so. Most don't care to listen at first, but I'm persistent. And being able to speak logical facts, many that I have learned from you, they can't deny what I teach them. And it starts them on their own personal journey of awakening of the truth. The ripple effect of your work is eternal. And the number of lives you have blessed and will continue to be immeasurable. I pray for your continued protection and that you will be personally blessed beyond measure. I hope you receive emails and letters like this on a regular basis. But if you don't, I want you to know you're making such a massive impact on the world, and your faith and commitment is inspirational. Sincerely, David Cromar. I've carried gratitude in my heart for her willingness to step outside and take a risk and warn everyone about the danger of vaccination. And her information is critical to understanding the truth. She wrote another great book. Called Rising from the Dead. I haven't read it all, but I've started it. I'm reading it on my boy's Kindle right now. It's great. Who are the dead? The doctors. And it's not that they're dead or brain dead. They're brainwashed. And she woke and rose from the dead. And she shares her journey of awakening from high school, through that education, through practicing medicine, to realizing the truth and sharing the truth. She truly is a hero. And you definitely need to read Dissolving Illusions. If you won't, please go to the Fear versus Freedom channel. Please go to the playlists. Go to vaccines. Watch them all. But at the very least, scroll down to Trojan Horses and Cluster Bombs by Dr. Suzanne Humphries. And watch all of her videos. All of them. And then watch them again. I've watched them all at least 5-6 times. It's unreal. And they're fantastic. They're referenced so well. And she gives you the IDs for every study, so you can go to PubMed and look it up and read it along while she's teaching, and you can actually learn. I wanted to learn. I wanted to know what happened. Why? Why did this happen? Why? Now I know. I know how. This taught me how. Oh my gosh. I thought I was sharing my screen with you this whole time, and I wasn't. Oh well. You got to see me read it. Mainly I was sharing the letter. Also sharing the book. Again, the Fear versus Freedom channel. The vaccine playlist. So many great videos. But at the very least, watch Dr. Suzanne Humphries. You will learn. It's important. I know how. I know how the vaccines and their toxic excipients destroyed our bodies, our brains. Why some more than others? The science is clear. It's not a mystery. And it's not a conspiracy theory. It's in plain sight. Look it up, guys. All right. I just wanted to make sure I got that token of gratitude out about Suzanne Humphries' work and her courage and her faith and her strength. because I love this kid. And I feel like he has a fighting chance because of the things I've learned that started with her work.
I love my dad. And I love my mom. And I love my brother. And I love my sister.
We love you so much. And our world literally revolves right around this boy right here. Because we love him. I had a whole bunch of other stuff to talk about, but it means nothing to me today. So we're going to end it here on this moment of love. And I'm only here because I love you guys too. And I don't want anybody to go through what our family goes through. And that's why I do this. I'm not here to teach you anything other than I want you to go do your own research. Holden, will you say goodbye?
Bye.
Goodbye.